gotta just love us. I do anyway. You don't have to. It's not up to you. You don't have to love it. I love it though, man. It's some good stuff. Hope everybody out there's doing great. Staying radio style, rocking and rolling. Happy New Year. Got some great plans for the show. Building, you know, we're all manifesting, aren't we, in our own ways. So I got some ideas, some good stuff. Gonna be working on that. Give me some time, make it happen. But I hope everyone's doing well. Got an incredible show, by the way, for those of you that have just been strictly in here on the thumbnail and the clickbait that I offered you. Well, it's good clickbait. It's legit. You're going to catch something with this bait, I promise you. Amazing stuff. Recently did a video. I've linked it below. Triune of God was the chapter from Neville Goddard's Your Faith is Your Fortune. It was, I think I did it Friday morning. It was the one I published that morning. Great video, I think. I'm here, Pat. Ow, it hurts. Ow, it hurts. But it was a video that talks about kind of the key, really the key 3 things to manifesting. And then it talks about the 2 pitfalls or things we do that we kind of screw ourselves with. So again, it's in the link below. It's a great video. I'd rather you stick around for this one for the moment. But I'm kind of keying in on something really spectacular that hit me when I made that video. I mean, these aren't just for everyone else. These are like, we're all on the same page, guys. We're riding the same cool consciousness wave. So I'm here to kind of grow and expand while we're all growing and expanding. So the big thing that really came into play was the receptive place. And that seems like, I don't know, like up front, if I just say, you got to be in a receptive place, to me that feels like, yeah, just open to receive. Okay, yeah, that's easy. But that's not, I mean, it is. That is exactly what it is. But the problem is a lot of us fight the receiving. We fight it and don't realize we're fighting it. We have doubts and don't understand why, right? To me, this was one of the key things. I finally am like, I always thought doubts were kind of more related to just not trusting in law of attraction. So I took it at a very, upper level. And I realized, because there's a lot of people that are like, I trust it, but... And I'm like, how can you be trusting it if you say but, right? But I think this is the depth. I think this is the other angle that's going to help round out this knowledge. So the receptive place based off of Goddard is you get yourself into a place where you know the thing that you desire. Maybe it's a person, a specific person. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's a higher level of income. And most of us, when we think about this desire we have, one, it's a jump probably to some degree from where we're at right now, right? It's like a hopscotch to this other reality. So one, there's a consciousness shift that has to occur, and that's what all these techniques are for. But the thing that a lot of us have is there's something about this thing we're manifesting. There's something about it that challenges us, that we think is not going to happen. We think it's a blocker. We think it's an obstacle. We think it's something that's actually in the way of our goal, our dream, our desire. So maybe a person, if we're a specific person, a very specific person, maybe an ex even, maybe there's a third party, right? And we're like, I don't know how to get past this third party. Or maybe they're a great distance away. I don't know how to get past this distance. Or maybe they're a different religion. Right? This is one I get down in India, I think, in that part of the world anyway. There's a lot of these kinds of problems where people want to be with other people, but there's arranged marriages and there's this whole concept of religion differences that's not okay. You don't do that. So there's a lot of very difficult steps that these people down in some places, in India for sure, see as blockers, right? This is things that are keeping me from getting me to my place. What Goddard's talking about for the receptive place is you think about, all right, what do I want? I want to be with this person. Okay. What's blocking me from that? What's bothering me from that? They're too far away. Wrong religion. Wrong blah, 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 blah. Right? Okay, push that aside. Just for 1 second, pretend that doesn't exist. Just pretend. Yeah, sure it does. But for the moment, pretend it doesn't exist. And when you get yourself to that place, and again, it's in the now, there's no time involved. For those of you that have been watching some of my videos recently, like tying all these wonderful things together that I'm learning in Your Faith is Your Fortune. Minus 3 weird chapters in the book. It is an amazing book. 3 very weird chapters, though. But Your Faith is Your Fortune, it's really been hitting home in a lot of ways. The consciousness shift, but then it's like, how do we do that? This receptive place was a huge key. So pushing the thing aside that you don't think you can do, pushing it aside the thing that you don't believe is going to allow you to have your dream. When you finally do, just push it aside, pretend for a second, you start to imagine and believe and think that I have this thing, I'm with this person, and they're with me, and we're interacting in my mind, right? And we're playing around, but now all of a sudden, we're dancing around in a way that I believe is possible because I've kind of pushed something aside, like I've just pretended it doesn't exist. Third party, you're over there just for a second. Like, no third party, it's just you and me, babe. We're going to be talking it up. And from that place, you can actually experience sometimes a guilt-free experience with them, but you can actually experience them in the moment without the blockage and actually have that moment where you feel the feeling is the wish fulfilled. It's easy to say the words, but the action of doing it, and this is what techniques are for, they're meant to help you feel. A lot of people, what if I can't feel? We'll do a different show on that. But for now, let's assume you can feel. So you get to a place where you feel that it's real. You experience it like it's actually happening right now, this very second. And the feelings you have are what creates. And what Goddard says, and I love the word he used, love it, is you're generating. Part of it's because I'm an IT guy. So like generating, like people are generating logs. It's one of the things I deal with. It's one of the major applications I deal with. $4 billion a year goes through this application software that I'm the product owner of, right? So cool, I'm proud of it. I'm doing my job, doing my mojo. But again, it's generating your manifestation. Now we've talked about also putting it out, preparing a place is the same thing as generating. But what preparing a place does, and I'm linking a lot of stuff because it's all coming together. So preparing a place and generating, I'm creating an area and space and time. Somewhere in the future, maybe it's next Sunday, maybe it's next month, maybe it's a year from now. I don't know. Maybe they're coming to visit soon, and that's the day. But there's a place in space and time where I believe this can happen. And so I'm going to prepare a place for this manifestation to occur. And when I do that, when I get to a place where I believe, yeah, this could totally happen, that's an adequate time space, I agree with that, it's natural. And when I'm feeling it, feeling key, critical, very, when I'm feeling it, I generate that. So this whole space and time thing kind of either A, gets locked in because it's a very fixed time, or B, this could totally happen on a Sunday because they go to the same church I go to, and every Sunday I'm there, or Sabbath, Saturday, right? Maybe, right? Whatever, right? Like that's the day that they could be there, and this day typically feels like this, so you associate that feeling, but you get that feeling in it. Maybe it's always Friday and you see him at the after hours thing that you and your work fellas go to, or you and your lady friends go to. It's that part where you believe it's possible, where you think you can do it, and that creates that generating, that creates that place, that creates the manifestation. Now, the key, boom, it's done. Here's where we've talked about it a bunch. Either A, let go, B, allow, C, it's in the oven, D, it's whatever. I don't really, doesn't matter. What's your thing about letting time pass, letting things unfold, getting from here to there, whatever's got to happen? Got to wait till Christmas. Can't just go and bust open the presents early, can you? I mean, unless maybe you were one of those people that used to sneak down and you would open up presents so you could find out what they were. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, it's hard to do that in reality. You can do it in Christmas presents. But that being said, the beauty that comes out of this is realizing, where do the doubts come from? Because the doubts, and Goddard talks about it in the very same thing. So I kind of want to hit it up real quick. I'm only reading 2 paragraphs. It's not even very much. So some of you guys are like, he's going to the book. But others are like, oh, cool, the book. Anyway, the 3 keys. In this receptive attitude of yours, while you contemplated being that which you desired to be, you were actually performing the spiritual act of generation. So you are now on your return from this silent meditation, a pregnant being bearing a child or impressions, which child was immaculately conceived without the aid of man. Doubt is the only force capable of disturbing the seed or impressions. To avoid a miscarriage of so wonderful a child, walk in secrecy through the necessary interval of time that it will take the impression to become an expression. Tell no man of your spiritual romance. Lock your secret within you in joy, confident and happy that someday you will bear the son and of your lover be expressing by possessing the nature of your impression. Doubt and talking about it. Talking about it's an easy one, right? A lot of us don't want to do it. A lot of us are like, what if whatever. It's pretty black and white. Don't talk about what you want to manifest to anybody. Black and white. Just pretty simple, solid rule. If you do, what if I had, whatever, just don't do it anymore. I don't care if you have. I have too. I've done it before. I had to back away. I talked about stuff on my channel, for crying out loud, to thousands of people, millions. And here, you got to be able to at some point go, that's not a good idea. You don't talk about it. You just don't. And then the other one that gets us, that's tricky, is doubt. And doubt's the tough one. Now, what I kind of realized, to me anyway, when I was thinking about this, is the receptive thing. For those of us that truly did the receptive part of this properly, thought about whatever it is that blocks us, that is the consciousness that we keep falling back to. That's that old pair of shoes we keep putting back on. We keep going back to, but they live far away, but they're mad at me, but. And it's the buts that get us. Every time. The doubts undo, probably, I'm guessing, I'm thinking, I don't have facts to back this up. I can't quantify it. I can kind of qualify it, but I can't quantify it. But if everything, is you pushed out and what you send out comes back tenfold, I'm figuring doubts probably work similar. And so when you hit the doubt, that's kind of like slamming on the brake. For those of you that drive one-footed, especially, well, I don't know. For those of you that drive one-footed, if you ever tried using your left foot on the brake of your car, you find that it's either on or off. There's no real soft in between unless you're kind of used to doing it. For me anyway, I grew up driving a clutch stick, right? Left foot was a wham, all the way down and then slowly pull it out, but wham, all the way down. I've tried to hit the brake with my left foot. Doesn't go well. And that's what doubt does to us. It is a screeching halt to the progress we make. I believe when we think of the receptive, that is where we identify the blocks, the things that would cause doubt. Now, either A, you don't believe in law of attraction. Okay, if that's the case, seriously, go back to the beginner basic. Manifest green lights, manifest parking spaces, manifest beach balls. There's a bunch of super simple stuff. I've got like beginner, just search beginner on my channel. I've got a video of specifically, a couple of them, I think. There's some very basic stuff that you can do to really start to help enhance your belief that what I focus on and what I put energy toward definitely seems to affect the outer world. Outside of that, most of the time the doubts are something related to what we're trying to manifest. I don't have enough education for the job. Well, I'll tell you, you've got experience, don't you? The experience is what's going to carry you. Who cares about the education? Don't worry about it. And a lot of the times, I don't know, I'm just making up something that I used to get hung up on, is wanted a bachelor's. I don't have a bachelor's. I have an associate's. But it's, associates in chemistry. It's kind of cool, right? A little bit, not really. So I didn't have a bachelor's, but I had like 8 years of experience. It's like, whatever. I know more than the dudes coming out of college, hands down, and you're probably paying me less relative to them anyway, even though it was, over time, but it doesn't matter, right? Like, so that obstacle was something I didn't have to worry about. I could put it aside. But those are the types of obstacles that we place in our consciousness. The old pair of shoes, like I said, those are the places where we pull it out of the oven and we're like, it's not done yet, and we take it out and give up. But the reality is it wasn't so much that we couldn't do it. It wasn't so much that we weren't able to do it. It was that we decided to quit on ourselves. We decided to block ourselves. We decided through what we believe that we couldn't have it, that we weren't good enough, that we weren't able to hold that. And so we failed, we gave up, whatever. The fact of the matter is, when you do the receptive part of this, when you realize these are the things that freak me out, these are the things I'm shutting aside for a moment just so I can pretend, and then when I'm done with the activity of generating my reality, projecting it into time, creating it, whatever, making a space for it, there's all sorts of great little words for it. It's the same thing. I've gone to these efforts to do it consciously. I mean, this is something you want badly because you're consciously doing it. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I'd like to bump into somebody. That's the extent of it. And then a week later, you bump into them. But you don't care. You don't be like, imagine it. Like, when I bump into him, it's going to be like so exciting. It's like, no, it's just a buddy. I just want to say hi, see what's up. I don't care. That's it. That's the extent of the thought, right? Same thing, but Didn't care. We're trying to create something amazing. We're trying to create something that seems to be a hurdle, a step around, there's an obstacle. Understand that shoving aside that obstacle is the situation. That it is what's allowing us to create this. And by realizing that, and realizing the only doubts that are coming into play is that my higher self, God, whatever the consciousness within me, this is not working well. The consciousness within me is not able to manifest a way around an obstacle, through an obstacle, under an obstacle. No matter what an obstacle is, I can imagine a way around it. Can't you? If there's a third party, for example, then they're obviously going to have to break up because your manifestation doesn't allow for a third party, does it? So it has to happen. It doesn't matter if there is one. There's an obstacle that's obviously going to be surpassed. That's where your doubt comes in. That's your affirmation, maybe. But realizing the thing that keeps freaking me out is there's a third party. That's why I keep having doubts. Now, I realize, yeah, but that's obviously got to end. Boom. Yeah, sure, they're together now, but it's projected out. A space and time and place has been created. This evolution that my partner's going through right now is going to evolve and resolve, and he will become single, and we will be together at that point. Or the fact that I have experience will matter more for the job, or the fact that me and my boss are going to iron out some of our details. I'm going to forgive and get over. I'm going to do some Ho'oponopono. I'm going to do some astral letters. I'm going to heal the relationship so that part isn't an issue anymore. And now I can tell my conscious self that keeps doubting, hey, dude, you've done your astral letters, Ho'oponopono. You're good. You're groovy. You guys are great. You got this covered. You're doing the work. You've created a place for you guys to be. It's going to happen. It's in the oven. Just set the timer. It's all good. I don't know why. You didn't see it, but I turned my arm and that's not even a hand gesture for the noises I made, but whatever. That's how it works out when you're live on Dan RadioStyle. So long story short, everything cut to the chase. We want to overlook our blocks. We want to actually generate, and we want to identify our doubts. When you use this receptive place technique, you will change your life. You will literally, not figuratively, you will literally change your life. The doubts kill us badly, tenfold. Like we need like a neck brace because we keep jamming on the brakes so hard. And it undoes a lot of momentum. Wow, a lot of momentum. And I think that was the other major reality that kicked in on me. Like a lot of the times I felt like, well, if you're thinking negative, you're barely undoing your damn. No, I actually think everything's like heavy. I think we're like either full throttle or full brake. And depending on how it goes, man, we've got to really get better at balancing our thoughts and fears. A lot of people said, how do I get rid of doubts? You get rid of doubts by identifying what they are and dealing with them. You don't mask them. You don't affirmation around them. No, because the doubt is always underneath. It's always that boil making your skin grosser and grosser. Now you're putting Band-Aids, you're wearing long sleeve shirts, you're covering it. You're not dealing with the fact that you got a nasty festering growtiness going on. Fix it. Look at it. Go, okay, what is that? And fix it. Identify what it is. Give it an answer that it can be like, all right, that works for me. They're going to break up. Or I am good enough. I got a lot of experience. Or I'm going to move in a year. I can find another job in another place. I'm going to start working. I'll definitely locate that. I know this person there that's going to help me. Blah, blah, blah. This can all happen. Know there's a way around your obstacle because you've already figured I can push it aside and I can imagine and create a space. That's key. It really is. If you can't see it happening, it ain't gonna. But you also got to get yourself past the doubts because you can undo it to the point where you literally are going to have to rebuild that. Or it's still there. I don't know. It's still there and you come to a complete stop and then you start trying to go again. I mean, you're probably like watching a student driver, right? And you're just like, oh, good Lord almighty. Especially if you're the one behind them. It's like, thank God it says student driver on the car because otherwise, God knows what I might say. I'm kidding. I'm not a New Yorker. That was for anyone that's out in the East Coast. Hope you guys appreciate that. It was kind of funny. Anyway, that was what it all comes down to. You do these key things, your life changes forever. I hope you guys get it, love it, do it, have it. Now it's time for questions. If you guys are still here and with me, I see there's quite a few people still digging on the channel, so that's grooviness in its own right. We had someone ask a question early on, which I thought was funny. It was before the show even started. There it is. What is my take? This is from Gab. What is your take on wanting to accept bad or socially unacceptable behaviors of other people because you believe in their goodness? So this is one of those things where, and I think it's just funny. This is an example of us pushed out. This is a great example of us pushed out. So a lot of us associate us pushed out to the whole idea of projecting negative things onto people, but we also, believe it or not, project good things onto people. The one thing I think is very important is just to make sure you're at balance within your own energy. If you've got people around you that, are not of the best, how'd you put it? Wanting to bad or socially unacceptable behaviors. Like if you've got friends that kind of do that, you kind of, if it's affecting your energy, if it's taking your energy, yeah, I recommend keeping a guard up, keeping that from being able to happen. If it's not taking energy from you, but it's someone that you care about, but they tend to be bad, I don't know, maybe just hang out with them less, but still appreciate and love them as souls and realize, yeah, this is like one of my best friends. They're a horrible person, but, so be it. I mean, I had some bad friends that were horrible that, I loved them. I hung out. I didn't go hang out with them when they're doing their horrible stuff. I got some friends now that do stuff that I don't do, right? It's okay. Like I'll watch them and they're like, hey, do you want to join? I'm like, no, man, you guys have fun. It's cool. Don't sweat it. So it depends. But ultimately, I think what it comes down to is, are they taking energy from you or not? And that to me really is the key question. If they're taking energy, no, guard, don't let them, not okay. If they're not, and you're just loving them because they're friends and whatnot, and you accept the fact that they're, horrible people, then yeah, that's totally cool. That's loving of you. And in fact, you're probably that friend's going to, like I've talked about it last week, where like you take a step up spiritually, if you will, like you took a step up a staircase and then you reach down to help them kind of get up to your level. So that's kind of probably what's happening. If you feel a strong connection to stick around with them, I think that's a very good idea. So there you go with that. Bug and a Flea is talking about New Year's resolution to let it go, turn away and slam the door. Kupaya. I doesn't care where they're going to stay. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. That's a great song, actually. The cold never bothered me anyway. Like, I don't know if they can shut me down for singing poorly Disney songs, but I just tried. Awesomeness. All right, cool. So we got North Star hanging in here. Good morning, good hi. Hello, Autumn Beauty. Thank you for being here. Elizabeth Hale, Maya Simmons, Nas M. Hale, Miss Hill. Nice to see you again. Jerry, what's up, buddy? From Jerry Ballard from Nashville. I lived in Knoxville for a while. I think I've said that before. You probably know that by now. And he's actually working on a really cool project. Jerry, at some point, will co-cross or something and chit-chat about that. It'd be fun to help you promote that when you've got it kind of done. But you're going to come on my show to do it. It's not like I'm just going to talk about you, because where's the fun in that? Christine, nice to see you. Christine Evans. We got Masty. I'm just trying to see if I can find a question down there from Powell, North Knoxville. There you go, Eric. Yeah, what's up, buddy? I was definitely up in that area. So you guys will love this. I lived down where the 40 and the 75 met. It was Lenore City there, but I actually lived in Loudon. So it was just like Sweetwater was just past. Anyway, a lot of fun. So I lived in Loudon for a bunch of time. I lived in Oak Ridge for a little while. Good times. Great place. Oak Ridge was a crazy cool place. At the time, was the highest per capita of PhDs in the world. Very super secret stuff going on in that particular place. Anyway. Let's see, my NYC, Misha, nice to see you again. I work in higher education, so very, very cool. Good for you. I'm trying to see if I find some questions. Ken W's here. Awesomeness. That's very neat. Still working, looking for questions. And by the way, you guys feel free to start asking questions. Cool. Josephine, say my brother's an actor. Been visualizing him working with specific directors. Always a good idea when you can help other people in your life. Try to manifest things. That's a very, very kind thing. Marianne Williamson said in a lecture a long time ago that you can't pour pink paint over your true feelings and call it spiritual. Oh, I like that. That's Kim W. That's a very feminine thing, I guess, because if I poured pink paint over anything, first off, the pouring of pink paint and the alliteration of it's fun nonetheless. I kind of love to figure out ways to say that more often in life. But on top of that, it's also very cool how, it's wrong color for me. But it is. It's like pouring glitter on your problems and hoping that's going to make it better. Yeah, look at the problem. Fix it. It's all good. It's there for a reason. That's kind of the joy. Autumn Beauty chimes in with, self-love is the answer to doubt. Become your greatest version of you and won't doubt a thing. You will know you are worthy and deserving of your desires. Totally agree with that. It's sometimes, it's usually some form of self-doubt, some form of self-love, some form of, hey, identify what that is and address it. It works out really well. New York City, Misha 18, question. Hi, Dan. Can you talk about asking the universe for signs to help overcome doubt? I just did a show on that, sweetheart. Seriously. I know you have a video about that. I just did. I just did 20 minutes on how to help with doubts. So I hope that helps. NYC Misha. Let's see. Happy New Year, the Sunshine Fee. Happy New Year there to you as well. Gab, thank you. I haven't seen this word. Tansta, Florida. What's the title of the book you read from earlier? It's in the link below too in the channel, but it's called the Complete Reader, Neville Goddard. All these books are in this one book. This thing's awesome. It's a great way to start anywhere. But I do have a link below if you just want to see at least what the cover is. You don't have to buy it from that link, and it's not mine. It's just an Amazon link to show you. But certainly, if you do buy, I actually get a couple pennies thrown my way, so it's not too shabby. But whatever. Hey, from Korea. That's awesome, Alyssa. That is so cool. I want to sleep better. How can Neville help me with this? I really need a good night's sleep. So Neville, I don't think can help you with this as much as you probably should meditate. You probably got a lot of stress or questions going on. Need to figure out a way to still your mind. Neville does talk about being able to come from a place where you can't feel your body and whatnot when you go to bed and you imagine things. So possibly that might help you fall asleep. But ultimately, I have found that when I've had great amounts of stress, great amount of work concerns, great amounts of things like that, that has cost me enormous amounts of sleepless nights or poor sleeping or tossing and turning. Heck, I was worried about this show that I'm doing today, and I slept poorly last night. I mean, it was all right, but whatever. So what I find is truly meditating or trying to figure out ways to minimize the stress in our lives or deal with the stress, maybe taking yoga, long walks, something. But I usually find that if you're having issues with sleep, it's because you've got other things going on. And if not, maybe there's an issue with having some like melatonin or one of those sort of not more healthy, natural kind of supplement type things that maybe help you sleep, or maybe some sort of relaxing tea. But yeah, I would suggest that a lot more than Neville trying to manifest better sleep. I would say you've probably, again, look at your doubt rather than trying to manifest around your doubt or manifest something out, right? Like look at it. Like, what's causing this sleepless night? Deal with that. Like, don't try to look for a magic pill to fix it. There's something. You're stressed. Something. Anyway. RLE. Question. I'm pretty much away from the person I want to become, and I don't know where to start. Hello from Asia. Hello, Asia. Start with the easiest first step. Start with something. Like, of all the things that you've got going on, like, I don't know what they are. If you want to throw some help, that's cool. But ultimately, find one and take a step towards it. One that you like. One that makes the most sense. One that pops into your head. All right, I guess I'll start a gym membership. I don't know what your thing is, maybe. But do something. Take a step forward. Again, it's a more complex. You're maybe asking a very broad question in a very simple terms, but just grab one. Take a step. Anything is better than nothing, no matter what. Anything is better than nothing. It's fantabulous. Your love story on fire. Nice to see you again. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen you. Christine's here again. I like that. Charisma Miles. Hey, Dan, what are your thoughts on being close with an ex's family because you love them but don't want to date the ex again? Would that mess with your energy to heal manifest? It does. You're holding on to old things. And on top of that, like, is your ex okay with that? Because, like, that might bother them. And so just because you like it doesn't necessarily mean it's best for the biggest number of people. I get why, and that happened to me one time. I had an ex break up with me even at one point, and I was still very close to it. I was, like, reaching out to her sister and her mom. I'm like, wow, can you guys just, what's up? Like, so I don't know. To me, generally speaking, when exes happen, I think commingling that energy is definitely not really stepping away from it. It's still maintaining connections. And if you want to, that's fine. I'm not judging it. You can do whatever you would like. But if you're planning on moving on completely, then yeah, probably not the best thing. If you're planning on maybe one day getting back together with him, you're not sure, you keep it up in the air for that reason. All right, well, if that's the case, yeah, keep doing it. I mean, again, there's no right and wrong. It's just, what are you trying to accomplish? Does that help you towards it? And if you're trying to get away from them, I don't believe that helps you towards it. If you're not sure, questions, yeah, I'd keep doing what you're doing. I would. That's the type of stuff I do. Hail J, I struggle with letting go, and it's destroying me. Even little things that I don't even care about. I put so much importance on every little thing that I block myself. I don't know how to fix this. So I've done a few shows. Like Hail, no offense. I mean, I would look, no offense, not an offense thing, but I would just plug in my own stuff, self-plugging, if you will. Like the last 3 videos I've done, literally, I would just go to my page, look at my last 3 videos, totally talking about this stuff, and then doubt on today's video. I don't know. I think that has a lot to do with your letting go ability. A lot of people I find are afraid to let go because they feel like if they stop doing the techniques, that somehow stops the manifestation. That's not true. The techniques actually don't keep the manifestation going. The initial ask, feeling, doing did it. Like you asked for it and created it. At that point, you created a place. You don't need to keep creating the place every single day. The place is already created. Why would I keep doing that? It's like once you find something, do you keep looking for it? And ultimately, what they talk about when it comes to manifesting is you become the consciousness that you wish to experience. That's the other side of it, which I've also talked about in my last 3 videos. So it's not hard, but it's really understanding that that's all your problem is. Your letting go is probably based off of fear, based off of some sort of I don't trust this, or some sort of I don't know if it's possible. I mean, there's a few different places. I'm not sure where you land on that spectrum, but I'm going to tell you one thing for sure. You can definitely manifest your dreams. I assure you of that. You just have to kind of combine the consciousness, understanding what are the things that are causing the doubts, deal with them. Don't try to just mask them. Trust me, masking doesn't work. You can do it temporarily. You can do it if it's a once in a while. If it's very rare, yes, mask the hell out of it. It's just happening once in a while. If you're doing it a lot, no, you cannot mask. You've got a disease, dis-ease, and you need to address it, period. Some way, shape, or form. You need to look at it, what's causing the problem. So hopefully it depends what's going on and causing your particular issues. Miss Hill, Dan, can thinking if he's interested, he'll show it, be doubt, or block my manifestation? What I have found when that type of thinking occurs is you are very focused on how it must happen. And one of the beautiful things about relationships is they generally broaden us as human beings. They make us bigger, they make us better, they make us more wonderful than we were before. And sometimes by being shy or sometimes by stepping back and hiding behind a veil, we can use that as an excuse for why it didn't happen. Well, they never reached out to me because we put it outside of ourselves. When I want something, I get it. I go get it. I don't let them come to me when they're ready. I've played with it, don't get me wrong. I've played with it when I didn't care because I wanted to see what happened. But when it was someone that I wanted to truly meet and talk to, first opportunity I got, I talked to them. I don't ever just hide behind a veil of, well, see if they get, right? And I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying I don't do that. And I don't think it benefits you to do that because I believe a lot of the times it's about expanding consciousness. It's about expanding our worlds. And sometimes by demonstrating to other people how amazing you are by stepping up and just being, or it can be something as lame as I like your shoes, or you like using sugar too. Like, I don't know, whatever their thing is. Find something lame to mention. Your hat's kind of cool. I like that. Like, doesn't matter if it is or isn't. Find something that's unique and step up to the plate. Get it going. Why would you wait for them? I have a hard time with that. And I know a lot of people want to just manifest it into their laps. I don't think that's really the point. This is your world. You pushed out. This is your creation. So if there's anything that's going to happen, you need to do it. It's your world. It's your movie. You're the main actor. I am sure you should do something more than the actor that's coming in. If that makes sense. So I don't know. That's what pops into my head. You can do whatever you like. All right, Elizabeth Hale. Every time we become aware that we have doubted our perspective creation, do we have to start the process all over, i.e. selecting a new time, place? No, you don't have to select a new time, place unless you've already selected a new time, place and you passed it. Yeah, probably should. Probably should find something that you can feel natural about, or at least put it off far enough or whatever to where understanding that this is created, it's going to unfold, and let it. There's a few ways you can play around with it, but if you've set a timeline, and a lot of times that's one of the tough things about doing this, by the way, especially for those of you that have watched that video recently, is you have to be honest with yourself. And what's really hard for a lot of us is we want it right now. And it's hard for us to be like, yeah, but there's definitely things that need to happen before I can be where I'm trying to manifest, like in the relationship again or whatever. Like right now we're fighting with each other, and to instantly say tomorrow or next week we should be together, it's like, that's not enough time. You haven't even talked yet. So I think sometimes we're unrealistic. I don't like the idea of thinking of it as starting over, because I don't really see it as that. It's like, it's still just manifesting the same thing. Now, maybe the date changed. All right, that's fine. I don't know. Is that starting over? I mean, if it is, cool. Yeah, start over. But if not, to me, that's not. That's just like extending, which I find does tend to happen when we set deadlines. It's one of the reasons why I hate deadlines. I recently did the discussion on setting a natural time frame. And I think that can be useful. But deadlines, I think, typically are with our time frames, not necessarily a natural time frame, and that creates problems. So if it's not a natural time frame, you're going to doubt. If it is a natural time frame, you probably won't doubt. Like every time it pops into your head, be like, yeah, no, totally. Sundays, I bump into them every Sunday. So hopefully that helps. NASM, just jumped. Dan, can you talk about high vibration to make yourself look attractive to people and have people wanting to talk to you, or even attract SP of good vibration? You're kind of coming at this backwards. You're doing it because you want people to talk to you. That's still like saying they don't talk to me. What it is realizing I am the S. I am the stuff. I am a good person. I am a wonderful catch. I am a very attractive person. I do the mirror technique. I recommend, go to my channel, search mirror technique. Great. Seriously awesome. You will feel the difference within 5 minutes. Like, it is powerful. Do something like that for your sense, but address whatever it is that you think people are attracted to, that people want to talk to, that people want to hang out with. Like, what are the qualities? And then acknowledge that you are those qualities. So check out that mirror video, look in the mirror and tell yourself you're all these things. Keep saying it to yourself, looking yourself in the eyes or the eye. I usually just look at one eye. It's kind of weird. But anyway, look yourself in the eye and tell yourself, I am this. I am amazing. I am attractive. I am wonderful. I am helpful. I am a good man. I am healing. I am love. I am just like all these things. And you will feel you'll get chills doing it. It is extremely powerful. One of my favorite techniques in the whole wide world. Or sort of dimensional world, right? Because it's in a mirror. I don't know what the hell that is. Those are kind of freaky. Hey, Daryl Tollison says, how can you take action towards your manifesting while letting go? If you have to take action, you are focused on that, and that's not letting go. I find that letting go is a general overall practice, that occasionally they're going to pop into your mind during the let going process. That's perfectly okay. They pop into your mind for a second, live in the end for a moment. Just for a moment. Don't get all hung up on it, but live in the end for a moment. You're walking by a restaurant, they pop into your head, you're like, I'd love to go with them. Oh no, I wasn't supposed to, come on. No, it's okay. You thought of them. That's great. Yeah, we're going to go here sometime. That's going to be cool. That's probably why I just walked by this place right now, so I could add it to my mental checklist of place that we're going to dinner. Awesome. And then go about your day. Keep letting go. So I think, it's going to pop into your head. And one of the cool things about letting go is it gets us out of our own way, and it allows us to see the fruits of our efforts that we've done already. The doubt machine is a killer. The doubt machine screws us up bad. And a lot of us don't understand that that's why we don't have what we want. It's nothing else. We haven't truly gotten to a receptive place, probably, right? We haven't pushed aside all the things that we don't believe are possible. And then on top of that, we haven't really dealt with the things that we don't think are possible. We haven't figured out a way around it. We haven't figured out that there's definitely a way, or we haven't realized that the creator, consciousness, God, source, universe, can get around this thing. So don't worry about it. Yeah, there's an obstacle, big whoop. That obstacle can't exist because my manifestation's going to occur. So at some point, this obstacle disintegrates, dissolves, floats away, whatever. So hopefully it makes a bit difference there. The Sunshine Fee, so you're saying you're answering to someone. Kim W., how can you live in the end without feeling crazy? I am crazy and feel that way all the time. Sometimes doing these things people tell you to do, live in the end, makes me feel silly. here's the thing, Kim. If it doesn't feel natural, it's not going to work for you. So a lot of people say a lot of things. Just because people say things doesn't necessarily mean it's right for all people. We all walk to the beat of a different drum, right? So just because something works for me even doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Might not. And just because something works for you doesn't mean that's going to work for Lisa Marie or Nass M or Augustin Jr. or Miss Hill or Hale J or Charisma Miles. Sorry, I'm just trying to grab the names on the screen. It doesn't mean it's going to work for all of us. So what we do, and I've suggested this many a time, find something that feels natural, feels comfortable, feels good. Who cares if there's a success story behind it or not? It's all about getting yourself to the place of the feeling, because the feeling is what impresses or generates the manifestation. And then allowing it to unfold is truly. So you've gestated it into the oven, the bun in the oven, right? I mean, that analogy works. Or you've put your food in the oven. Or you've got a trip planned and all the things are booked and everything's ready to go, and that's happening next month on Sunday. Like, it's whatever. You've prepared the place. So, yeah, if it feels crazy or silly, I wouldn't do it. There's a lot of weird stuff out there that I don't like, or certain behaviors that I hate doing. Like, I don't like cutting pictures out. I don't want to cut a bunch of pictures out and make a vision board. I don't want to do it. I just don't enjoy it. It's a waste of time. I like looking at pictures sometimes when I'm in the mood to like the Rolex that I've got on my mirror, right? Like, I went and kind of did a little research and found the one I liked, and that was an enjoyable process, kind of like shopping almost. But outside of that, I don't have like a vision board of Rolexes. No. I've got a very specific one that I'm going to get, and we will get to that point. And I love the fact that you love alliteration. And Kim, you're still like, that super chat was $25, man. That was pretty sweet. Anyway, sorry, that's off topic. Melissa, how can we separate daydreaming from manifesting? Sometimes I daydream about situations, but I am not sure I would like them to manifest. Focus on something else. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people ask, like your mind is this foreign thing that, how can I dog train my mind? I've got a leash. I've got one of those neat little thingies, the holsters that hold it so it doesn't, so it's not choking. No, your mind is yours, man. Run it. Own it, control it. When you're daydreaming, kid, blah, blah, blah. Let's think about what I do want. Not, whatever. I don't want to come up with crazy bad things because that's never really good. But yeah, so take ownership of the fact that your mind is yours. Have some go-to thoughts if you need them. Some certain things that you like thinking about, maybe whatever it is you're manifesting. Maybe even, hey, here's one. Manifest a better house that you're currently living in. Manifest a bigger bedroom, bigger rooms, bigger house. I want you to start imagining your new floor plan whenever you're bored and you catch yourself daydreaming about something silly or not good. This doesn't seem to be working well at all, does it? So hopefully that'll help. What the heck? Hey, Dan, scamming. I don't know what scamming means. That maybe rhymes. Anyway, Lisa Marie Cole. Hello. Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I'm sorry, just someone said hello. It's how my poor brain works. Christine, I have a hard time letting go. What's helped me is when I give up and find a new project to work on, suddenly what I want is trying to manifest before her. You're right. Yeah, sometimes just getting your mind busy on something else. That's a great example. Thank you, Christine Evans, for jumping in there and offering some help for my fail. But yeah, that's a very, very, very good approach as well. So see, we're a team. That's why I love the fact that we've got some great moderators in here, if you will, that are helping kind of answer questions and giving perspective. Because I've said it before, both eyes, left and right eye, see the exact same image. It's the fact that they're split apart by an inch or two, depending on how big your face is, but they're split apart. That's what gives depth perception. That's why we see in 3D. It's 2D images, but they're superimposed with the brain, and then and we give them depth and all this. So it's kind of cool. So it's perspective. It's always a good thing. Lisa Marie, hey, I caught you live at 8:30 a.m. in LA. Oh, you're out here in LA. That is rad. Hello, welcome to the land of crazy. Let's see. Dan is live. Let's see. We've got all sorts of people here. Dan, have you manifested from lottery yet? What, millions? No. I'm manifesting income. And again, I teach frequently that I don't think it's a good idea to limit how that comes. And it's not, to me, it's not just about the money. It's about the lifestyle. If I was rich, what would I do then? I would still want to have a YouTube channel. I'd still want to be successful, right? So some of that drive just kind of helps pull me along. I'm making great money. I'm in a great place in my life, so I don't need $1 million lotto winning. I mean, it would help me get to the house quicker, but the idea that I'm manifesting it and expanding my YouTube channel and expanding other things in my life, I've got some really cool stuff kind of planning out and growing. So there's a lot. It's more fun for me to do that rather than just have someone go, here's $1 million. So I know a lot of people want to do that. If I win some lotto, that'd be great. I mean, I've won on scratchers a lot. I mean, I've definitely won money playing that kind of stuff, but nothing like to, write home about. Went up to Morongo, even casino that's not too far from here with the girlfriend 3-4 weeks ago. Both of us walked away. Like, I paid for everything, even gave her some extra gambling money, and I still walked away with like an extra $120. I mean, so it just depends what you're trying to do. If you're looking for someone that won the lotto and that's what you're going to decide, that's the person you should listen to. I'm not him. You should find somebody else. Jerry Mouse, go back to the feeling when you knocked into doubt. Huh? I don't know. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to just, I would love to, microwave mindset. Yeah, so true. So Kim W. makes a great point. I would love it if we could get away from this microwave mindset this society has drilled into us. I remember when it would take weeks to get a package. Now I get mad if it's in 3 days. Right. I mean, that's the thing. I think that's really funny is like social media has really screwed up people's perceptions of how human relationships work, especially, but certainly kind of just manifesting in general. Like, well, I don't know. I put out a picture and I got immediate gratification. It's like, yeah. And so you're going to apply for a job and maybe in 3-4 days, they're going to call you back, maybe one day, and then they're going to schedule an interview. And then that interview happens and then a period of time to think about it. And then they come and talk to you or do another interview, right? It's a process. There's just no way around it. Like, it's not instant. Oh my God, I just got 150 likes. It's so great. Thank you, Eric, for your nice words. Let's see. Did I see the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Quentin Tarantino revisionist history approach can be compared to Neville Goddard's Revision. Huh. I have not seen it, but very, very much like Quentin Tarantino's movies. I mean, that guy maybe is a bad person. I'm hearing some horrible things about him, unfortunately, but I love his movies. I've seen almost all of them. Apparently not that one. Most of them, though. I've seen quite a few of them. I love his movies. Let's see. You cool? Kim's doing the mirror technique. It is very awesome. Christina, the mindset should be that which we desire has already manifested, and whether it's money or relationship, however the senses report you, continuing to live in yourself as it is. It's the consciousness of being wealthy that brings about wealth. It's not so much just the thought of the money or just the thought of the relationship. It's the fact that I constantly feel like I have it. It's the feeling that really, really matters. But yeah, close enough for all intents and purposes. And that's M, letting go process to be with an SP. Does that mean we cannot text them at all? If you're truly letting go of something, yeah, you should stop texting them for like a week. I've said it frequently, like in most of the videos I talk about it. It's usually not a permanent let go. Now, there's two forms, and I mentioned this in every video I've ever talked about letting go. But there is letting go because you're frustrated, because it's taken a while, because I'm exhausted, because of whatever. Like, that's a different kind of letting go than letting go because I realize I have it already and I truly am not going to question it. It's going to happen. Like, I want to manifest an orange shirt. Like, okay, that's going to happen very easily, right? Frick, no, I undo that. I got blessed releasing erase. I want to manifest an orange shirt because I don't even like orange. I don't even want an orange shirt. Blue shirt. We'll do that. So now I'm going to manifest a blue shirt. So that's great. Awesome. Cool. And I don't worry about it. Let go. So there's that kind of letting go. And then there's I'm so frustrated. I can't have what I want. Dude, let go for a while. You're trying way too hard. You're way lost. Anyway, I don't want to get into that story. But yeah, if you put too much effort into it, if it's too strength, then letting go is something you got to kind of do to get away from him. And if that's the case, yes, stop texting them. If you're in that place for sure, don't text them during your little period of letting go. Be it a week, be it a month, whatever it is. No texty. Let them text you. Text them back. That's fine. But no preemptive texts. Let it go for a moment. Stop. Basically, it's okay. You can try again in a week. Trust me, you're not going to undo anything in 1 week's time. But it does go back to Kim's point, like that microwave process. Like, how much damage could I do? Probably less if we get out of our own way. That's the funny thing. Dr. Akash, manifesting is like making love with your SP. Enjoy the process. Amen to that, dude. That's just a great general visual. It's like making love to your SP. Or, for those of you that maybe haven't been down that path, and maybe, hopefully you've surfed, but it's like riding a wave, man. It's just a cool experience. Very, very cool. Happy New Year, Gisele. Gisele, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I wish the whole world to manifest that heart's content. Here's the miracles. Good for you. Cheers. Ching. Let's see. Life without obstacles. Nah, you don't want that, by the way. Eric, I don't think you want life without obstacles. You want them, right? Yeah, it would not be worth living. There you go, buddy. Sorry, I'm jumping all over you. When you overcome the obstacle, only then will you become and know, the power that you gain from overcoming obstacles. You said exactly. Eric Harris, you are a master. I'm sorry at first you caught me, but that was a good catch. That was a good, clickbait. That was good. You did that well, buddy. Sorry, it worked. Good stuff. American News Press Love. Something like that. What's the cheat code and how to integrate into our daily lives? Cheat code is left, up, down, X, B, X, left trigger. Done. And then you'll have it. You have it immediately. So it's fantastic. That's all you got to do. And I'm not saying it again. That was the one-time thing. Rewind it later if you need to. Scarmon means what's going on in Australia. No, wait. I'm probably totally saying it wrong, but that's awesome. G'day. That's about as good as I can do. But I love trying to speak Australian to Anya Svivarelli whenever I chat with her because she's friggin' from down under. And by the way, I worked for a Kiwi-owned facility, and the president was from Australia. Just an amazing dude. He's like Iron Man guy. It was pretty awesome. He was like the epitome of what you would want representing Australia. If this dude was him for sure, but he was just super cool too on top of all that. Great guy. Love it. Love Australia. Always have. Always will. I found my dream home too far from my job, so I am dreaming retiring early with abundance or remote working sometimes as possible. Unless you're a cashier somewhere, because it's hard to remote cashier. But then again, you could probably find something closer to your house. So I'm not sure what you're doing, but maybe there's a way. I don't know. Again, don't be so like the obstacle. This is a great example of what I was talking about. Like you see an obstacle and you're like, so I'll just give up. No, you could probably maybe still ride out another few years. Just get the house anyway. And maybe there's a way. Find a way. There might be a way. So anyway, I would never assume that that's the end of that. So that being said, NASM, I don't, how do we use LOA to change facial features? So here's the thing, I was thinking about this earlier, do you use LOA to try to just magically change yourself? Probably not, because too many people have seen the way you are, and it would be weird to just say, I just magically fixed myself. That would really mess with the law of confusion and the law of free will. You would be breaking actual physical laws of nature. So I don't believe you could do that, but what I do believe is you can manifest ways to alter your facial features for sure. I mean, there's plastic surgeons, right? So there's definitely a way to manifest a different face for sure. And there's been literally face transplants. So you could totally get an entirely different face put on your skull. So it's definitely possible. And if it's an issue of affording it and whatnot, I would go that path. But again, trying to say it has to happen a certain way, well, now you're telling the universe, no, I don't want to do it through a plastic surgeon. I want to magically do it. It's like, all right, but that maybe not going to happen. Or, maybe you'll just grow old and whatever the thing is, it becomes covered by wrinkles and you can't see it anymore. And then you've gotten your manifestation, but not quite what you asked for. So I would be careful, one, what you're asking for. And two, I would accept the fact that if you want to manifest being able to fly, don't try to do it with your arms in a fake feather suit. Buy a plane ticket. That's the easiest way to fly. And yes, I can manifest being able to fly. I could even learn how myself. So I think that's a big distinction that a lot of people kind of do that's a little weird that you probably shouldn't do. If there's a way to do something with technology, that's probably an adequate way to go about it rather than trying to make magic happen, which is, again, you're breaking laws of confusion and laws of free will with others. Like your mom's going to be like, what happened to that mole on your face? You're like, I magically removed it. And she'd be like, you what? No, you didn't. You can't do that. That's impossible. You can't force somebody to believe in magic. They can believe, choose to believe, or choose not to believe. Anyway, off on that tangent. Hello. Let's see here if I can find Kirsten. Thank you. Yes, once upon a time. Awesome. Lots of jumpy jump. Where did that go? Oh, well. Oh, there it is. Cool. I found it. People don't forget to make a thumbs up. Oh, yeah. Dude, thank you. There you are. Waltrude. Yeah, he's saying thumbs up, like the page, share. If you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe, all that stuff. And the bell notification's another one. If you guys actually enjoy my work, please click that bell notification. Make it get the little icons next to it, and that way you'll be notified whenever I put out new videos, which is pretty much daily. So hopefully that works. And I've been kind of over the weekends, been cutting up a lot of these questions and trying to make little mini videos that people might enjoy. So whatever. Let's Christopher Pullen. I believe we are not under any laws such as attraction and etc. I believe we're all God having a human experience, thus here under grace. Therefore, dominion over the earth where manifestations are nature. Okay. I mean, go for it, Christopher. That's awesome. So you can go and supersede physics and float and levitate, which I don't disagree that should be and can be possible, and certainly probably within your own confines. But trying to do that in front of another, I think you will find that the universe will treat that situation differently. But I agree with you. I want to go out on a definitely acknowledge that. See, I did my research and found that manifesting a private jet is easier than manifesting an SP. Thank you, Dr. Akash. Probably some truth to that. I had a friend, and maybe anyone out there that gets this, but if it's of the 3 Fs, you should rent it. And if it floats, it flies, or the other F, then you should rent it. It's kind of funny, but the guy that told me that's actually a pretty well-off retired dude. Anyway, it's kind of funny advice, but he's kind of true. Like, owning a plane's very expensive, owning a boat's very expensive. And the other one is as well. Joseph DeMarco, have you heard of Brian Scott? His YouTube channel is really good. You and Anya should team up with him. Cool, I'll check into it. Yeah, I'm not going to just sit there and plug a bunch of people, but that's awesome. I will try to check up with them. Maybe have them reach out to me if they want. I'm just super busy. Instead of manifesting changing features, manifest learning to love your features. That's another thing you can do also. I'm really into that too. Like, instead of like wanting to change yourself, accept who you are. You made yourself that way. You created yourself. This wasn't some sort of happenstance. Again, that's accepting a lot of things. So, yeah, if you can do that, that's fantabulous. Hopefully you guys got some more questions. I'm getting down to the end of the list here. Christine, why should we care what others think? You shouldn't. You shouldn't even care what I think. By the way, you shouldn't care what others think. It's your reality, your world, and you should, live in your world and rules. I think it's a great way. Tell Agnes my mom is visualizing rain in Australia to stop the fires. Josephine, I will definitely let her know that. In fact, it reminds me I should send out to try to maybe do a video with her next week. That would make sense. So I'll try to do that. Let's see. I didn't see that. What do you do when your wife won't wake up and no longer believes what you believe? She thinks I'm crazy. I'm trying to manifest a new wife that shares similar views. Eric, I find that people aren't always going to have your exact same views. Your life is your life. Your world is your world. This kind of has a feel like there's some more depth to it. But again, people will wake up, and if you get yourself fully awoke and truly love somebody and kind of help them through that process, they can definitely get there with you. If they refuse, then it can be very challenging to stay together. Some people say that when you get married, you make a vow to stay with each other through better or worse, sicker and poorer, or richness and poorness, or whatever the hell, all that stuff, right? So, it's up to you. It is your life, your rules, your belief. And again, it goes back to what someone else said, who cares what other people think? But oftentimes, too, when you try to run away from something in this one place over here, you'll find it follows you to wherever you go next. So just assess the big picture as best you can before doing anything rash or crazy. But, relationships do fail. It's unfortunate to say, but it does happen. Let's see. Pegasus Oracle, what's the story with the magician picture behind you? I love it. It's always in the videos. It's just special to me. It represents my master teacher. I've got information about the picture in the description of the videos, every single one of them that I put out. It is a very common question. A lot of people are like, how can I get it? I don't know. I had one person ask me to take a picture of it and send it to them. I don't know. I don't know. I'm actually working on manifesting my next studio, so we'll see what gets incorporated. I'd love it if I can somehow frame this in a cool way and have that be like a historic and then bring in some other cool stuff. So that all being said, it represents my master teacher. That's what it represents. Back when I was really early on in my spiritual path and doing a lot of pretty serious meditation work and chakra work and all that kind of stuff. Explain cheat code. Northern Lights, I don't know. The way I meant for me was like in video games. A lot of times there's codes you can do where you can have endless money or God powers or whatever. So cheat codes in Xbox, which I don't have any games like that. I actually have computer games I play sometimes. But anyway, a lot of times if you do the controller like left, up, button, click, here, bop, bop, and then all of a sudden you're in God mode. So that's what cheat codes are. I think if they were looking for cheat codes in life, then I don't know. This is kind of one. If you learn to use this receptive place, find the things that are causing the doubts, get them out of the way for a moment, realize that your consciousness can definitely manifest around any obstacle, or at least that obstacle must end before your manifestation occurs. It has to, because your manifestation is definitely occurring. You have prepared a place. There's no reason why it wouldn't, and life is groovy. Dan, what was the last thing I manifest stuff all the time. People like to ask questions like that. I've manifested a lot of things, specific enhancements in relationships. I bumped into a couple random people, picked up a significant bump in income. I've got a lot of things in the fire. So yeah, I manifest constantly. Every one of us manifests all the time. But I am definitely manifesting a number of significant things. They will become evident. I certainly will not talk about them beforehand, because what are the two things we can do to screw up our manifestations? Talk about it and doubt it. So I'm not going to talk about it to anybody at all. And that's that. Like, I barely even tell my girlfriend some of the stuff I'm truly trying to manifest. Dan, do you have any tips on how to remain focused instead of falling in old thought patterns? You've got to just catch yourself. It's a pattern that you have to acknowledge when you do it, and then catch yourself and fix it. I did a video one time talking about like how when you buy a new pair of shoes and you put them on and they're uncomfortable, so then you want to go and put your old pair of shoes on so you can slowly break into them. It's kind of what we're doing. So, if you keep finding yourself reverting back to the old shoes, just remember you need to put those new shoes on as often as you possibly can, and you need to wear them as long as you possibly can, and it becomes more and more comfortable the more time you spend there. And as far as focus, practicing staying focused, meditation, focus on your breathing. One of the best ways to stay focused and practice focusing is to focus on your breathing, because you know how to breathe, so you're not going to question whether you're doing it right or wrong. And that way you can focus on something that's absolutely easy and you can't screw up, and there's no reason to have thoughts about it. And that way, if any thoughts come through your head, you just go back to focusing on your breathing, and you keep going in and keep going out and keep going in and keep going out. Thoughts go through your head and they go through your head, but you keep focused on in and out, in and out. That's how you get better at focusing, is by doing it. Just saying, I want to get better at it. No, you got to do it. You got to practice it, because it does. It takes time. Josephine DeMarco, there was a Twilight Zone marathon New Year's weekend. That's awesome. My mom has found connections to Neville Goddard's teachings. Have you ever watched it? What episodes stand out to you? Twilight Zone marathon and connections to Neville Goddard's teachings. Have I ever watched it? I'm assuming the Twilight Zone. Probably the man on the wing is the one that jumps out at me. I do remember one other episode. I think it was them. If not, it was the one on HBO series, the little crazy dude, Tales from the Crypt. So it was either Tales from the Crypt or Twilight Zone. But it was one of the coolest episodes was this dude that met the devil. And the only way he could pass through to the other side or whatever, I forget what the challenge was, but the only way he could do it was he could ask the devil 3 questions. And if he was unable to do or answer the 3 questions, then this guy would win. So he said something like, so you are aware of like all places in the universe, and there's like no place you're unaware of, or something like that, like 2 questions. And he's like, yes. And then the third thing he said was, get lost. And the devil couldn't technically get lost because he knew where every place was right? He knew where everywhere was. How could he possibly get lost? So anyway, that was a pretty cool, like little fun episode. I hope I didn't just lose a bunch of people. Dan, does astral letter release the other person from receiving their karma? No. Everyone else gets their own karma. That's their business. That's their deal. That's their choice, their decision. You absolutely have zero to do with that. You can clear karma for others at larger purpose. I've done it. I did it a lot when I was younger. But ultimately, no, the astral letter's for you. It is fully for you. And it helps remove any sort of negativity that you have on it, because it kind of, yeah, I guess not to an extent. I'm so bad about just saying no and then just, kind of, but sort of no. I don't know. Maybe. Josephine DeMarco, did you see the South Korean movie Parasite? Neville Goddard's revision technique is sort of used in it towards the end. No, I haven't seen that movie. Sounds interesting, but yeah, revision's a cool thing. Revising techniques, revising your future, revising your Your current reality, I mean, Goddard talks about, like, the second you choose to revise and make a revision, like, now it's this, it's different, they're no longer mad at me or whatever, and then you instantly begin taking steps in that direction. Now, again, kind of going back to what I talked about here, that technique works wonderfully unless you get a lot of doubts. Again, when we have doubts, we kind of undo a lot of the revision-y stuff we do. So sometimes we're trying to revise something that we don't believe is possible. So in the case of maybe revising a broken relationship, sometimes we do have to do like the Ho'oponopono or astral letters or whatever else is out there, do some forgiveness on us and them, and then do the revision technique. And then we might have actually more success because we realize we've sort of cleaned up that energy that was holding us back, if you will. Very, very good. Nicole, nice to see you. Let's see. Yeah, and you can totally start the end there. Paul Kelly, Dan, can you comment on the meaning of grace and the role it plays? And thank you for what you do. Grace. You know, I don't have anything that jumps out of me. Grace is kind of a weird word to me. I know from the biblical standpoint, I probably wouldn't necessarily get into the belief that the Bible tries to share. Yeah, nothing jumps out at me with grace, man. I got nothing for you. Good. First time someone's asked me a question I actually couldn't answer. I have no idea what the hell grace. I mean, I could look it up. I'll just pull up. Let's have fun. What the hell? I got the internet at my fingertips. Let's see what grace. Simple elegance or refinement of movement. Probably not what you're talking about. Courteous goodwill. Okay, cool. I like that. A verb, to do honor or credit to someone or something by one's presence. Yeah, so none of those things really mean anything to me. Like simple elegance, okay, cool. Yeah, I love it when I get to get dressed up and people look elegant in their dresses, yay. But don't have any thoughts to it. So maybe share what you're meaning by it, but courteous goodwill, I think that's super important. Grace to good man to man, like to be good to someone, I think that's always good. That's kind of up there with the things that you should always do. Treat others until like you'd like to be treated yourself, right? That whole thing. So from that standpoint, that works. Do not to honor or credit someone by your presence. Like, I'll grace you with my presence. That's just like ego, man. So I don't know. I don't feel like that's too groovy. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not understanding what you're asking for. But yeah, nothing jumps out at me at all. That was as good as I got. Twilight Zone is my all-time favorite show. Good to hear. Yeah, Rod Serling was quite an amazing writer. There's no question about that, Kim W. Let's see. I want to spend this summer in New York City and take some film classes. I know I have to go to the end, but it feels so outrageous. I don't know how to reach this goal in 6 months. Does it have to be 6 months? So maybe that's not a natural time frame. Or if not, like what are the things that you need to work on? Maybe start taking some steps towards them so at least they don't feel so daunting. Realize that your higher self, source, universe, God, whatever, can manifest through anything. And if 6 months is legit and that's what's got to happen, then it's got to happen, right? Because that's when you graduate or whatever. So, okay, make it happen. I mean, if it feels outrageous, again, it goes back to what I was talking about earlier in the show. You got to figure out when you're getting to that receptive place, what are the things that are blocking me? Why do I feel like they're blocking me? Can I do anything about the fact that they're blockages? Like, I mean, after you've done the manifesting part, but the blockages are the doubts. So by addressing them, looking at them, handling them, trying to figure out, like, what's the universe saying to do right now? Like, do I need to get a passport? You can't manifest a passport out of thin air. You actually have to go and get a passport, right? There's no way around that magically. So again, there's going to be some things that you need to do. So hopefully by doing some of those things, that'll get you heading in that direction. That's definitely possible. New York's a crazy place, though, so have fun. That's great. Be safe. Tony Barbara, yep. Lucille Ball, oh, she's amazing. Yeah, I agree with you. Let's see. Got a lot of people doing TV episodes. Donna Douglas from Beverly Hillbillies, she was good. I agree. What's another? I loved Leave It to Beaver. That was probably one of my favorite old-time shows. Yeah, what else? Gilligan's Island, even though it was only on a couple episodes. That was fun. Three Stooges, that was always good. Munsters, there's another good show I liked. Anyway, I heard that you should accept your emotions or it will cause resistance, making manifestations easier, I'm guessing. It's difficult for me to feel it real. I am easily distracted and not very consistent. So I would work on the focus thing. Yes, you definitely want to feel the emotions. You want to accept the emotions. If you've got emotions that are contrary, you should probably address those. A lot of the times those emotions come from self-worth issues or lack of love or lack of self-love. So those kinds of things can get in your way. This whole process isn't just hocus pocus, say magic words, and everything happens regardless of where you are. As Goddard says, and without a doubt, it's 100% consciousness. There are a lot of tools you use to shift your consciousness, but ultimately it is consciousness. When you shift your internal consciousness, you start to manifest all sorts of crazy different stuff in the outer world. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. You can say and do and think and blah, blah, blah all you want. If you don't alter your consciousness, you will not get what you're asking for, period. That's just how it works. So all these techniques are meant to help us expand our consciousness, as Aaron Doty likes to say. Expand your... Anyway, guys, almost 1 million subs, dude. That guy's rocking it. I don't watch his videos only because I don't want him to impact me, but I am subscribed to him. He's someone that I think's got some pretty good stuff. Very clickbait thumbnails, but whatever. Add CD. Can chanting a mantra of certain goddess help in manifestation, meditation on a certain god? I'm assuming possibly Indian. Yes, definitely. I think that's a very good way to do it. I think chanting, and especially, I don't fully understand, I think it's Hindu, all the religion that well, but I do understand that there's a number of different deities, and they, I think, serve different purposes to my understanding. So yes, if there's an appropriate one, and connect with her, yes, and I'm sure him, and I'm sure that they are more than willing to assist you in this. I would love to explain why to everyone else, but I don't want to tarnish his, I don't want to try to activate stuff within this gentleman. So yes, that will work. That will definitely help you. There we go. Let's see, Tara, I heard that you should, there we are. Now I'm catching up. Oh, Bewitched, another great show. Alfred Hitchcock is great. We're running out of questions, folks, so I hope you guys got some more. Got people talking about TV, so that's good, though. At least we're hanging out, and you guys are finding stuff you like to talk about. Dan, did you know that Rod Serling and Lucille Ball used to attend Neville Talks? I find that very easy to believe. Same right now as Esther Hicks, man. She's like the today version of Neville, and a lot of people might want to question that, but fact of the matter is she is. And she's saying basically the same stuff, but in more today's terms. There's a lot of people that are like, how can I kind of hear more of what Neville would be like today? It's like, I honestly, Esther Hicks is in line. No offense, but how do you break cycles? Breaking cycles are fun. That's a great question. Euphorix, I think I'm saying that right. Cycles typically are us doing the same thing over and over and over. Every time we keep getting offered the same thing again, the cycle begins. We choose something. I think Einstein's typically equated with saying that the definition of insanity is doing the same action over and over with the hopes of a different outcome. You break cycles by doing it differently. Whatever you've been doing, like every time this thing pops up and then I do this, don't. Do something different. Do something different. Anything different. Doesn't matter. Anything. Come up with a different way to handle it. Like if you're always being nice to the person and you keep going through this cycle, next time be a jerk. I don't know. Be a jerk. Be like, no, F you. And then hang up on them and then see what happens. Do something different. I'm not saying you should be mean to people, but I'm just saying if you're always being nice and you're freaking cycling in a weird way, be mean next time. You want to hang out? No, you suck and you smell. And if you didn't take a shower, maybe, right? Like, I don't know, whatever works for you. Jonathan Hansen, what is this? That's a question mark. That's what that is. Okay, that was funny to me. I don't know what you're asking. Let's see. The Pegasus Oracle. One of my personal tricks when I'm stuck or not sure what to do next is I will ask out loud, what must I be and do to make this situation better or get what I want for my highest good? That's actually very good. Pegasus Oracle. I like that. I don't know if I can I pin that? That's pretty cool. I'm going to pin that. Let's put this. Can I do that? I can't. Oh, well, that was a good idea. Excellent thought you just said. That's very, very, very good. Yeah, and it usually works very fast, they follow up with. Listen, you guys can read your own notes, but for those that are just listening or after the effect, do you think subliminal affirmations work well? It's ones that you have to repeat the affirmation, but some go too fast and feel or say it. You can do that. You can record them and listen to them over and over. Yes, they do help impregnate the subconscious mind. One of the problems with the subconscious mind is if you create a subliminal to the subconscious mind that the conscious mind has a huge contradiction with, it does create a weird problem for you. So again, a lot of times people want to affirm their way out of behavioral issues, affirm their way out of self-love issues, affirm their way, they got a boil on their arm, right? And they just keep putting a Band-Aid on it or covering it with a sleeve, like I said earlier. Like those kinds of behaviors will continue to fester if you don't handle them. So even subliminal won't work on that per se. But that being said, subliminal techniques are awesome. It's a great way to really push and impress, if you will, something into your subconscious where it'll believe it and hopefully question less. So again, use it carefully, and I do highly recommend you do your own subliminal work. I say it all the time. You can do whatever you want. Don't listen to me. I'm just Dan RadioStyle, right? But do your own. Make your own. Rather than trusting someone else to put subliminal thoughts into your mind, put your own subliminal thoughts into your mind. Ones that are tailored exactly to you, not just general. Like everybody, do I want my specific person? Well, I don't know. Your specific person's probably got a name. So maybe you'd be like, I want Veronica. Like, or not want, but whatever, right? So it probably helps to make them a little more groovy. Hi, Kathy Gardner from Portland. How does one best handle subconscious doubts? So sort of talked about that earlier in this video. A lot of the times it's figuring out what are the blockages that we feel are present. A lot of the times the doubts creep up because of that. We feel like there's something that's making this manifestation not possible or unnatural, as Goddard likes to talk about. By identifying what that thing is, or realizing that I can manifest past an obstacle, or realizing that I've already prepared the place that I'm manifesting, and of course that's going to happen, so whatever this thing is must at some point dissolve. You can go at it a number of ways, but ultimately it really depends on kind of how it's manifesting in your life, what the actual blockage is, and, maybe the best approach is kind of based off of that. But for the most part, I'm really fond of when something pops up and it's causing me issue, I like to address it. I feel like that's part of why it's there, is to show me, hey, here's where you've got a place where you've got an imbalance, or you're living a dichotomy, or you're not truly doing what you say, or here's a place where you're harming your chances because you've got a belief issue, right? Like, I like it when something pops up because it's how you identify what I need to work on to get better, to expand my consciousness, right? All those crazy things. So I see value in it, and I try really hard to do that. Would you want to see a Neville Goddard biopic? If so, would you want to play him? I don't know what you're asking me. What's a biopic? Do I have to look this up? What's a biopic? I don't know what a biopic is. Biopic? What the frick is that? Biographical. Oh, biographical. Would I want to see? Yeah, you can share a link with me, an email if you want. I mean, I'll watch it when I get time. I mean, no, not particularly. I will say Neville Goddard's one of many, 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 many wonderful people that I've learned from. I don't consider him to be the best or the bright. I don't consider him the best. I consider him amongst many. So I don't hold Goddard in as higher regard as some people seem to. I think he's a wonderful teacher, though. How do you find the balance between efforting and allowing? You've got to be really careful on the allowing. Well, the allowing for sure. You always allow. 100% of the time you're going to allow. I think you're talking about when to receive versus when to do, or when to use sun energy versus when to kind of use more moon energy. You've got to balance it. I honestly find it's definitely a balance. I do find that if you pay sort of attention to what's going on in your outer world, so I do something today, and then tomorrow I look at my outer world and I'm like, did that work? Did that not work? Did that get me a step closer towards my goal, or do I feel like or seem like I'm a step further? And if I feel like I'm a step further, I try something a little different, and then tomorrow I'll look at my day and see, all right, is that working for me? So by paying attention to what's actually manifesting in your life, you can actually kind of get a little bit of an idea, am I heading in the right direction? Now, if your life is telling you, like the guy's ignoring you, like everything's cool, and you stop texting him, this is a great example. So everything's like you stop texting him, right? Because he won't text me back. So like, all right, fine, I won't text him. Then a week goes by, and suddenly out of the blue, he texts you, and you text him back, and you have this cool little discourse, and seems like he's cool, and he says he misses you, and everything's great. And then like an hour and a half later, you text him again, just like you used to. And then he sort of responds, but it's kind of not as great as you were hoping. And then a little bit later, you text him again, and you send him a picture, and you send him more texts, and you text him some more, and you text him again. That kind of action, because that's now all of a sudden he's stopping texting back, right? Because we keep doing too much action. So you've got to kind of understand there's a balance. And learning that balance within your own little world is important. And again, I think paying attention to how things are manifesting based off of your actions is a great way to assess, is this working for me? And if it is, and if you're taking steps in the direction you'd like, if it seems to be working, you're only texting once in a while. Maybe I text them in the morning or every other day, or I text them when when something pops up and it seems appropriate, and they almost immediately text back. Right? You might find something that's working really well. Keep doing it. It's working great for you. So it's a balance that we all have to find. Your manifestation is a little different than everyone else's, but you've got to find your balance in your little manifestation. There, unfortunately, are not as many black and white rules for all of us that we can all follow. There's just some general principles that seem to work and govern how manifestation occurs. Let's see. How much energy do you put into understanding the cause of a pattern or undesired outcome as opposed to just focus on the desired outcome? Undesired outcome, if it's an issue of I haven't manifested what I want, I don't worry about that. If I'm manifesting something I don't want, that's when I kind of put a little more effort into it. If it's just like, oh, I'm asking to be with so-and-so and they still haven't gotten back with me, I don't dig into what's causing that problem as much as it's happening, it's coming, I don't question it. If I've suddenly manifested something very similar but different, that's when I kind of pay attention, or when I've manifested the opposite, or when I've manifested them but not quite what I was after, like that's when I'll reassess it. So again, it kind of depends on whether I'm manifesting something or not. If I'm not manifesting, I know it's coming. I'm not worried about it. If I am, then yes, I am looking at it. If I'm manifesting something good, I still assess that as well. And I look at the causation. I'm like, all right, well, that's working for me. And I can kind of see what did that. And okay, cool. I mean, one, I'm trying to help other people understand it. So I pay a lot of attention to what I'm thinking and feeling, especially when stuff is kind of working out and what I was doing recently. So I can hopefully maybe help others understand manifestation better. Like I'm reading, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants like Neville Goddard and Esther Hicks and Neil Donald Walsh and James Redfield and Dan Millman and Richard Bach and James Redfield and whatever. Shoulders of giants. Seen some really cool stuff. X4Ixa, I manifested my SP multiple times, but he ghosted on me. I manifested a new guy who suits me more, but he doesn't know what he wants like my SP. How do I get rid of the block with my new SP? Give him a chance, right? Like, it sounds like you've kind of got a lot going, like you're pretty intense, or maybe like you're really, and maybe he's not quite up to that speed. Like, I don't know, maybe pump the brakes a little with you. Just chill a little bit, give the guy a chance to catch up maybe, and just give it a go. But it doesn't sound like he's blocking, just maybe it's a little early into the relationship and you've already made up your mind, but he hasn't. Give the guy a chance. Give him a chance to catch up. Hey, Mr. Pincock's here. Cool. Love it. Let's see. Thanks, man. You're saying some nice stuff. That's really, really, really cool of you. North Star 143. What does Abraham-Hicks mean by you can't get it wrong? You can't. What it means is even when it's wrong, you can still fix it. Like, you can always redo. There's no stuck forever with, like, that's the thing that's fun about manifesting is you can alter your life. If you've manifested a life you're not particularly fond of, I mean, Goddard's a great example of that, too. He was in a marriage and he got out of it, and someone else was married and they got out of it, and then they got married together, right? So actually, there's no getting it wrong. And also, when you look at did I do it wrong, that's when you're not owning your manifestation as much either, right? Like, this is your manifestation. This is your dream, your focus. How could you get that wrong? You're asking for it. You're asking for what you desire. What is there wrong within that? So the word wrong is just kind of an interesting loaded word, but ultimately you can always change it. It's your manifestation. Like, there's a number of ways where it's hard to be wrong. And it's your belief, by the way. So if you believe something and everyone else says, dude, you're crazy, you believe it. It's real to you, right? So it doesn't matter that everyone else says you're crazy. So again, you're not wrong. It's just you think differently. Let's see. Think it's possible to use energy medicine as a tool for manifesting? Yeah, sure. NAM energy. That's funny. The NAMN is funny as I think that's Danish for name, isn't it? But anyway, because we have a software that's got some old, I think it's Swedish. And NAM, and the way it's spelled there, NAMN, is actually the name column in the advertiser table. And it's just funny because a lot of people, when I'm typing SQL and I'm in a meeting and I'm hand typing it really quick, they're like, you spelled name wrong. And it's like, no, that's actually how you spell it. You're spelling name wrong. I'm not helping. Oh, that's very sweet of you. Okay, let's see. Suppose I have imagined from the end of my desire and also an event that is a subset of my desire. So what is likely to happen? Both? That would be my answer for you. When is my birthday? I am a Gemini. Hope that helps. Let's see. Pancakes. Making pancakes. Okay, well, yummy. Christian, we're running out of questions. So if you guys got them, cool. If not, we'll be cutting it here shortly. Make sure. Oh, my goodness. Let me make sure I'm queued up, too. We don't want to have issues in that. We got to be ready. We'd be ready in this crazy era. Let's see. Is fear common to before and during manifestation sometimes? Fear is... it's common early on, I guess. I don't know what the fear part per se. I love the acronym false evidence appearing as real. And that happens sometimes, but fear that you're going to get it, fear that you're not, fear that, I don't know, I'm not sure where your fear is coming from. But generally, fear is an indication of lack of understanding and something that you probably need to walk through. Maybe it's more of a nervousness that I'm about to manifest this new job and I'm a little scared because it's like, who knows what's going to happen. But it comes into that whole pattern and whatnot. So it plays out okay. It's funny, very distracting text, but really funny that that's who the person that just texted was. Tony Barbera, it is done as you believe. That is very, very true. Let's see. German healer Bruno Groening. I have not heard of him, I don't believe. What's his? I won't look him up. No, I haven't looked into the German healer. Followed a bunch of different healers, met healers. So yeah, I'm all into healing. You guys having doubts about healers? If that's a good one, sure, go for it. Talk about him. Yeah, other people will learn from that. But yeah, without a doubt, healing is a fascinating subject. In fact, the Law of One stuff that I've been doing some videos on my other channel, it's called On the Fringe. And yeah, Law of One kind of talks about some of that healing stuff too. So it's another fascinating bit of information. You can look it up online, Law of One. It was the, JJ or LL research group. There's a PDF you can do, book one, something or other. It's the book one, though, is the one you want. It's free online. So good stuff from that. I'm going to laugh if that was actually responded. No, okay, nice. So yeah, why it happens to, let's see, as my voice cracks. Why it happens that too many details hinders the process. Generally speaking, you don't want to work on all the details as much as kind of more of sort of the end result or a sort of end. I mean, sometimes like if you've not even talked to the person and jumping straight to the wedding is a little hair far down the road. So maybe let's manifest the first date and then manifest the wedding after that. So sometimes it's good to kind of do it in steps. But yeah, manifesting, trying to do all the details is usually kind of an indication that you're kind of wanting to control this way too much. And manifestation doesn't work well when you want to control it. It's going to find a path and it knows the best path for us to tell it the path. We generally almost always hurt our chances of doing that, which is not helpful for us, right? Let's see. Was there a manifestation in particular that has frustrated you? I see the fails as growth. I'm trying to think if any of them have frustrated me. I mean, certainly not getting what you want kind of sucks sometimes, but then I just kind of back away and come at it from another angle. Was there anything that I ever didn't get ever, like I eventually just said, screw it, that I was then upset about? No, I have zero regrets. In fact, the things that I haven't manifested, usually with hindsight, I've been able to look back on it, after the effect and go, wow, thank God that didn't happen. So I hate to say it, but there really haven't been any like frustrating ones. I mean, sometimes things maybe don't happen quite as quickly, but then I just kind of realize, well, there's either more to this, there must be a larger angle, there's others involved, there's like, eventually answers start to come to me. I realize that the universe can show me answers, so I get them. Like, there's a lot of tricks and tips that I use and kind of help resolve through the times where I'm wondering why things seem to be playing out the way they are, maybe. Anyway, I don't know. I know it's not a good answer, but I don't get frustrated with my manifestations too often. Any info on David Griffin about was Jesus a secret magician? I don't want to touch that too much. I've read a lot of stuff about, like the Essene Gospel of Peace is a book that I highly recommend. Was Jesus a magician? I could see why people would call him that. I feel like that's probably being used in sort of a way to kind of play him down, make him sound less than he was. He was an amazing master that came here, much like other masters, by the way, that have come here numerous times. Well, not numerous times. Other masters have come here. Numerous masters have been here. Many religions, by the way, typically spin off every time a master shows up. It's one of the reasons masters have a hard time showing up on this planet is we tend to deify them. And most of the time they're coming down here to tell us, kind of like Goddard, like, no, you're God. God's in you. You create everything. They're like, no, you're God. You could do stuff. I'm going to put you on a pedestal and I'm going to worship you. And they're like, it's not what we wanted. So a lot of the times, most of the masters that have come here have been unfortunately misunderstood. After time, for sure, especially. Or corrupted, which is probably a better way to look at it. We've had some dark alignment on this planet for a long time, a very long time, and they've taken over a lot of the things that were meant to be very helpful to mankind. It's changing now, by the way. We've already won the war, and now it's just starting to play out. What do you think of manifesting multiple SPs or life outcomes at the same time? I think that's fine. I'm okay with that. It does tend to, quote, slow down the process. So as long as you're willing to accept the fact that you're going to have a lot of things happening at the same time, and they're going to happen at their own pace. If they contradict each other, you can find issues in that. If you're into polygamy and that's the world you want to live in, and you're going to find people that are cool with that, then hey, groovy, you can manifest that as well. Like, yeah, whatever. All of that's possible for sure. They say if you want to manifest things the fastest, to focus on it. I'll be honest, I've never been patient enough to do that, and I've never really been able to be that single-threaded in my life. It's boring to me to only have one iron in the fire at a time. So I've just never been able to do that. I've always enjoyed doing multiple things simultaneously. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. Let's see, is it appropriate to try to? Is it appropriate to try to manifest relationship with someone who you only saw in a photo? Well, when you think of like a relationship with someone, you would think that would imply that there's a lot of, a lot of good things. Like they're kind-hearted, they're really good, they're, right? You see a picture, then that more is like, I want a relationship based off of what someone looks like. And that's fine. And I think there's going to be probably, no offense, but I think there's going to be some lessons that you'll probably learn. Yes, you absolutely could manifest a person in a photo. Will that person be everything that you hope that they are to be? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Sometimes that's the fun part of the whole manifestation process, especially in the case of something like that. So hopefully that helps make a difference. Thanks. I feel like my manifestations are being blocked and I don't know how to fix this. So I talk about that at the very beginning of this video. I did like 20 minutes or whatever. Really, I feel, Goddard, and I'll say it for the third time, Goddard talks about being in a receptive place, getting to that receptive place. To do that, you need to think anything that's a blocker or any sort of thing that's keeping you from your manifestation. Maybe there's a specific person, third party, maybe you don't have enough education to get the job, maybe whatever, right? Maybe you don't have enough money saved right now to put the down payment on the house. So you've got some issue that's blocking you. Push that aside for a second. You get yourself in that receptive place. You imagine it. You feel it. At that point, you've generated your manifestation. Now, blocks typically, I think, come in from a couple of angles. Either you don't believe in law of attraction. I recommend, if that's the case, start small, beach ball, have someone find money, parking places, green lights, whatever. Start small, and eventually you'll start to realize, oh wow, there's a causation between what I focus on and what I experience in life. Wow, that's really trippy, huh? I wonder if it works when I do this. Oh wow, it seems to, right? Do all that. The other side of it tends to fall back to the things that we pushed aside to get receptive, like I don't have enough education. So one of the doubts I keep having is, why would they ever hire me? I don't have enough education. When I've already done this work to get into the consciousness and feel like I can definitely get this job and I can see myself doing it, and then we revert back to old consciousness because we doubt that our education is going to, that's the problem for us. Now, when it comes to that, it's not fully understanding how manifestation works. It's higher self, source, God, consciousness, creator, whatever, is the one that can find the way. So whatever your little obstacle is, there's a way around it. Always. Trust me, there's many ways around it, probably. You may not be able to see it from your perspective or vantage point, but I assure you there is. So having faith in the fact even that a way will happen and letting it go from there. So again, sometimes it's dealing with the doubt. Why is there a doubt? And if it is like the work example, I don't have enough experience, or I don't have enough education. Do you have the experience? Well, yeah. Well, then you're fine. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Is that really true when they say, or 5 years experience? Yes, they mean that. If you have 5 years experience, they're going to hire you. So again, it's just coming at it and really, I think, handling what's behind the doubt or the block. And then from there, sometimes you can do that. Can we heal by manifesting? Healing's, I don't know. I mean, I want to say no, but I think it is, sure. Manifesting is just kind of energy anyway. Healing's just kind of energy anyway. Healing's kind of a different form of manifesting. I don't know. They're kind of the same thing, kind of different, but yeah, sure. Stevie Wonder. It's very nice of you to come join us here too. Rather, probably, thank God I'm giving the answer audibly too, because you wouldn't see it if I typed it. That's for sure. That's not cool. May Gemini or June? I'm a June Gemini, and I am on the cusp. And I am very Gemini and very not Cancer, oddly. But there's some Cancer components. But anyway, let's not get off on craziness. And by heal, I mean like an organ. Yes, there's a video I even did, but there's a guy that actually heals his heart. He has a heart condition he was born with, and used these techniques to get his heart in a good place. So yeah, absolutely. Healing's a tricky thing. When you kind of call it healing, it implies that you're not well. So coming at it from an I'm not well standpoint, you'll never get out of the I'm not well standpoint. You do oddly have to come at it from an I am well standpoint. And that can be where the trickiness is, but I would definitely look up some videos and whatnot. This is definitely not the video to do it, but I have definitely done videos. There was one specifically with Goddard. Maybe just look up the word heart. I think it's boy heals heart or something like that, but look up heart on my channel and you'll see the video I did for that, and hopefully that'll help you. Let's see. Yes, Mike. We're getting to the end, maybe. We'll see. We'll see if I get lucky. Can you manifest for animals? Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, sure. Absolutely. You could manifest for animals, Josephine. Can we use multiple techniques for the same desires, and do they affect each other? No. A desire is a desire is a desire. The technique is just to get you to the place where you generate the manifestation. You can do 5 techniques. They're all generating the manifestation. If the manifestation is the same thing, the fact that you generated it 5 different ways doesn't help it in any way, shape, or form, and doesn't hurt it either. I guess one example is if I write a poem, I don't know, for those of you that use computers, if I write a poem and I write it in just regular Notepad, and I write it in Notepad++, and I write it in Word, and I write it in letters, I don't know, whatever the Apple one is, and then I write it in Google Docs Word, but it's the same poem, is it any different? No, it's the same thing. It's all the same. You've created a poem, right? You manifested a poem. Doesn't matter how you manifested it or what vehicle you put that manifestation on. You still manifested a poem. So hopefully that's that's so awesome. Anywho, this is amazing, the text messages I'm getting right now. I can't even say. Do you think activating the third eye helps manifesting beyond words? Activating all your chakras will assist your manifesting in a great amount. So not just the third eye, don't just stop there, but go ahead and hop up one more chakra and make sure you've got yourself cleansed all the way through. But yeah, absolutely, without a doubt, getting your voice chakra is going to help, because whenever you have conversations with people, it's going to be more natural. You're going to be able to speak with more confidence. Third eye is going to allow you to see the pathway easier. Higher, the crown chakra is really going to get your whole vibration in line and get your energy just from upper source connected, so you feel it a lot more. And then, of course, yeah, we can go down heart chakra for sure. And I really think the upper ones are super important, but people kind of neglect the lower ones. And the lower ones need love too. So, yeah, no, definitely. Getting all that stuff in line is solid. So Candice Wada, can I manifest physical changes in another person's body? You can, but not necessarily. Healing's a fun thing, and healing another requires their permission. You have to understand what it is that caused the healness in their body. And is that something that's more of a soul level or more of a consciousness level? If it's more of a consciousness level, it is something that without a doubt can be healed and helped by you. If it's a soul level, no, you can't change it. That needs to be there for them. That was their choice to make in this life. And that's why they have it, is so they can understand what it's like to have this life. Unfortunately, I don't believe we live once, so maybe that's part of the problem, but that is the case. Let's see. I am not literally an angel. I'm just like you, Candace. Let's see. Don't have to believe any. Okay. Let's see. Let's the sick and say I am well. Oh yeah. Did you see the farewell? Some ideas about healing with the mind are illustrated. I have not seen it. I definitely, again, I believe in healing without a doubt. Healing's without a doubt. I totally believe in healing. I could do probably a whole hour just starting yammering on about healing. I don't want to do that to you guys. Let's see. How do you open our chakras? Find videos, look into it. I would really start with the base chakra. I can't cover that in just a short period. I've done videos on them eons ago. If you want to look up the word chakra on my channel, I did different ones that kind of talk about the body parts and whatnot. But really, I would, if you're interested in doing it, do some research, look it up. There's ways to do it, and there's ways for you to kind of do your own versions of meditation, to understand what those chakras are, to kind of assess your life and how you're behaving, and is that chakra in balance based off of that? Because there's some good behaviors, bad behaviors. Where do you fall on that? And really, that's kind of how you evolve up through them. is you kind of look at them, really look at that component of your life and how it manifests, how that chakra tends to manifest in your physical world, and see, is that kind of in line with what I'm trying to do, right? Is that working for me? And if it is, then keep doing it. So that's great. Let's see. Someone, I just saw the Lyme disease one. There you are. It's chronic pain from Lyme disease. Renee. So it's weird is my old roommate from Tennessee got Lyme disease, and she's talked a lot about it. I've heard that there are some technologies and some medicines and some other courses that are starting to help with Lyme disease. But yeah, Lyme disease, I mean, you can, but one of the hard things is when you've got a debilitating experience that is a feeling, it's sometimes hard to get enough out of the body to get yourself in a mind space where you can be healed and healthy. When you're constantly in pain, it's very hard to feel like I'm not in pain. So if there's ever a time where you don't feel in pain, or if being in water, or when you're in bed, or if there's certain positions that seem to offer no resistance, I would try to do the meditations of that healness and that wellness when you're in that place where you're not necessarily feeling the pain. That would help you tremendously. If that's not possible, that'll challenge us a great deal. Maybe hit me up on an email and I can try to look into it more, but just off the top of my head, I would have to probably do a little research to see if I could come up with an idea that might work for you. But yeah, off the top of my head, that's the best I got. Okay, I don't know what the farewell is. Yeah, let's see. But they say it takes many lifetimes to activate your chakras. I don't believe that. Just right off the bat, I don't believe that at all. Hermits meditate in caves for years to activate their chakras, and happens with guru grace. Yeah, that sounds like a belief you have, and I don't buy into that. So, but maybe that's reality for you. I don't know. But yeah, that's not been the case for me. I'll tell you that. Not even close. Not even remotely close. I mean, years. I spent years doing this, but I didn't have to go hide in a cave. That's for sure. Let's see. What if you put the bun in the oven and accept a time frame for it to manifest, but then that time comes and it doesn't manifest by then? Come up with another time. Keep doing it until you got it. I don't know. Don't give up. Don't start over. Just pick another time. Not the end of the world. You probably picked a bad time. You thought that was a legitimate time. Maybe it wasn't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it didn't feel natural. Maybe you've still got some blockages in the way. It's not just saying, all right, Sunday. I feel Sunday. If you're still doubting yourself, you're destroying your manifestation. Doubts kill manifestations. Doubt and talking to others kill manifestations. Not just slow you down. They hit the brake full bore. It is. So be careful. If you've got doubts going on, that's causing you more damage than the date you chose. So you got to look at it. Again, it's self-assessing. You have to look at what's going on inside yourself. It's not just black and white. Let's see. As you believe, so shall it be done unto you. It says in the Bible for good reason. Very true. My phone died, Dan. What technique should I use to manifest my college transcripts? Been living in the doubt regarding re-entry. I never thought about LOA ideas. Yeah, all the stuff I've talked about in LOA, Christina. Like, use those techniques. Like, if you got doubts, use the techniques I've shared with you to help with doubts. If you're worried about how can I help manifest getting into college, I got 770 videos that you can choose from that frequently talk about it. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can use. Manifesting's manifesting. Doubts. I mean, all the stuff you're talking about is exactly what I was speaking of in this video, and given examples of how we can work through all of that wonder and amazement. All right, cool. All right, guys, looks like we got to the end of the list, and almost a 2-hour show. So, Miss Hill, what does it mean? What's that squeak? Wow. Oh, somewhere else I'm thinking maybe. See what, ouch. Miss Hill, what does it mean when LOA teachers say you manifest your SP the first time, you can do it again? When there's been a breakup, most people move to the next person. Well, move to the next person, or give up the things that caused the breakup. Forgive. Do some Ho'oponopono, astral letters, any other techniques that you're aware of. But forgive. Give forgiveness. Be kind. If you're still getting grumpy when you guys do interact, work on yourself so you don't get mad. If you're still angry, work on what's causing the anger. It's not his fault per se you're angry, or if you're blaming him for your anger, then you're putting the responsibility for how you feel outside of yourself, and you'll never fix it because maybe he doesn't care right now. You got to take ownership of it and own it yourself. If you've manifested it once, you can definitely manifest it again. I agree with that. There might be some stuff you got to work through to make that happen. So work through it. Get there. This is yours, Miss Hill. Get it, girl. All right, you guys, have a good one. Love you all. And to all, a merry weekend. Thank you, guys. You're the best.